I'm aware of the name Fit For An Autopsy. I'm sure I've heard a couple of the songs like years ago, as introduced to me by my friend Kier, who said that I should check this one out. I've not listened to them in years. I don't really remember what they sound like, other than probably quite heavy, if I remember correctly. And if my recommendation from Kier is anything to go by, he likes heavy things. All right, Two Towers. Perhaps Lord of the Rings? I don't know. Almost 6 minutes long. And go. Okay, more grunge rock than I expected. I set a little drum fill in there. Interesting mix. Getting a Deftones vibe. Is that Chino? I'm aware it's not Chino. Oh. The drums dropped out. That bass note was very nice. It's kind of an old school production mix. Guitar riffs. The fucking bells, you hear that? 2 hands or 1? There it is. Okay. Got some screams. Ooh, nice little slide. Jesus. Interesting. They really lean into certain rhythmic moments there. It sort of all bounces between that low riff. Interesting dynamics in that. There's a scream vocal, but there is like a note that supports it. Is there a harmony that's really low in the mix? You can just get the sense of the melody. That's a tasty guitar distortion. Okay. Quite complex. Twisting it up. That's a nice rolling rhythm. That's great. Straight 4/4. With a triplet rhythm. Over it. Hello? There's definitely a sung melody with that scream. Moody guitar solo. Nice. dueling harmony. Not really dueling, just harmony lead. Low in the mix, melodic vocal. The nice guitar lead bit. It's not a like super high production drum recording. It's a layer, it's kind of contained. It's not a very modern way to do it. Going for that like classic metal vibe. Some interesting instrumentation in that section there. Is that a keyboard? This one is making that. Okay. Well, to start with, not normally the kind of heavy rock I listen to, and not normally the kind of heavy rock I thought Kira listens to, so that was a bit of a surprise. It's a sort of old school metal sound. It's got a bit of a classical, like classic metalness to it, but like with some dark, growly, like you'd expect them to have long beards. And this is massively stereotyping. You know, excellent beer bellies and maybe some Viking horns in the background on their stages. I'm thinking of like Mastodon and stuff. And normally I don't really listen to that sort of sound. I don't know why that is necessarily. But there's a lot in there that I did enjoy though. They're clearly rhythmically interesting. Like to write something like that, it's almost fucking 6 minutes long, where you've got seemingly like a sort of 4/4 rhythm, you know, on the drums, but the busyness of like double kicks to support it, and some of those fills. The guitars are all locking in sync completely with each other on the rhythms they're doing. So and that sort of maps over what the rest of it's doing. And the vocals are kind of simple in their rhythmic busyness. And so it's kind of deceptively complex for what is overall an almost drone-like sort of sound, even though there's a lot of busy hits and percussive moments. So it's kind of an interesting juxtaposition. There's moments in there where it kicks into a groove and you're like, amazing. Like there's one that was just straight 4/4 kick snare, right? Quite boring. But because of all the other busyness, when that kicks in, it's incredibly satisfying. And maybe that's why they write these songs the way they do. They give you an expectation of sound, and then they'll change something later, you know, not massively later on, but at some point to make you go, okay, they're doing that on purpose to then show you this. And once you've had this for a little bit, they go back into something else. And it's busy as fuck. And they had a very, actually, quite satisfying lead guitar bit towards the end there. Lots of meaningful notes being rung out, but played exceptionally well. There was some really, I can't think of a better word other than satisfying, but towards the end where it's going through a bunch of different notes. And I know that's an oversimplification, but I mean that it's not just going up some scales. It was sort of almost like you'd play on a piano, this collection of notes, but it was doing that on the lead while there was a melodic vocal happening as well. It's kind of an interesting collection of musical moments there. Yeah, and there's a certain association I have with that low growl scream vocal that can be really great and powerful, but it's interesting when they do it in this vibe of music where it's a subdued and calm and like sad tone. It's kind of interesting. It's not a sound I gravitate to, but I respect it. I think it's very hard to do what they've done with this, and it was interesting. You know, I don't think I was bored. I think there's moments when it started out, I was like, I don't know, this is entirely my vibe. But then they did enough interesting things that kind of captured my attention. So respect to that. 2 towers. I mean, they're singing about 2 towers and being locked in them. I don't know whether it was like closely aligned with Lord of the Rings. There was a fiery ring around it, so maybe there is something about it. It's an interpretation of Lord of the Rings. I don't know. But it was interesting. I like the animation. It's kind of a nice movie. So thank you for that. There was some interesting stuff in there. I don't know that I'll be running to hear a bunch more just because, I don't know, I don't have a particular yearning for that collection of sounds in my own musical interests, but it was fascinating to hear and pay attention, actively listening to that, seeing moments in that I wouldn't hear in a lot of the music I tend to gravitate to. So that was an interesting ride. Thank you for that, Kier. Let me know if there's something else you think I should check out in the comments here. If you enjoyed this reaction, and if you want to see more in future, you're very welcome to subscribe. Otherwise, have a wonderful day, and maybe I'll see you in another video.